Hello, welcome to Courage Haven, and I am Rebel or Rebel K. How are you doing this morning? It's my second video for the morning. Q&A number 2. So let's get right into that. What does Courage Haven stand for? It stands for all the trauma survivors. All the people who've ever been bullied, mistreated, taken advantage of, manipulated. It's for all the people who has really been through something really raw in their life. It's to help gain courage, to help somebody be able to heal. You know, words mean more to people than one person may ever imagine. And all us survivors have been knocked down in so many ways. And some of us only survive for a short term. But Courage Haven on YouTube is supposed to represent hope, influence, courage, the willpower to speak up and speak out. Tips. I only have like 4 resource videos on there, but resources, you know. It's to help survivors grow as individuals, and then maybe they'll connect and, you know, it'll become a family. Because each voice matters, each person matters. So this is my way of putting hope into the world. I'm counting on my legacy and my empire moving on way past my time. So, I gotta make it great. When did you become an influencer? I think I've always been like this way, you know? I've always, from a child, I've always, saw someone down or down and out or really upset or whatever. And I've always been like, are you okay? I've never seen myself as an influencer back in the day. But I would say when I hit my 20s, I'd say about when I hit my 20s, so about a little over 10 years. 18 to 20, because, I've always been a lush. So, there's that. What is my end goal? Well, I mentioned that. To make my empire strive with greatness and abundance of joy, peace, happiness, and maybe a little touch of savage. Hey, you don't judge. Am I always this positive? No, I'm not. Let's face it, we're not always this positive and this bubbly and this outgoing, you know. I've, little by little, I'll share my story, which I've already started. But with all the stuff that people have said to me and the way that they have treated me in the past or underestimated me, which they still do, that's why I try to push through and be positive when I'm feeling down and out. Making a video or an episode or even a TikTok where I'm doing, you know, some sing along stuff, it helps somewhat get me out of that funk that I'm feeling at that time or that moment. So, no, I'm not always this positive. Behind the screen, of course. Of course, because I want my reputation to be a good one. I would like my name to hold weight in what I do. You know, what do I gain from doing what I do? A confidence to know that I made an impact in someone's life, that I made a change, that I got somebody to think about something that they didn't or maybe wouldn't have thought about. I gain seeing someone smile. Maybe they'll join my YouTube and they'll subscribe to Courage Haven, because that's where all the stuff is. It's all there. But to gain, for the most part, I would say I'm trying to get more subscribers. I'm trying to get more people to subscribe to me that like the way I think. Or think it's interesting about some things that I talk about or discuss or whatever. My angle, like what I gained from it or whatever. I'm trying to build my channel up because I'm not going to be here forever. And I want to get as much content out there and on my channel as I possibly can to help the next person, because I had it, but it was disguised. You know what I mean? Like when someone says, "Are you okay?" But they're like, "Oh," they're just saying it because they're like, "Oh God, what's wrong with her?" Not like, "Oh, what's wrong?" You know, not heartfelt. So, and I know how that feels, and it makes you feel. So that's why I do what I do, and I'm trying to show people that no matter what somebody says about you, you matter. How old were you when you planned your family? I was 18 years old. How old are you now? 42. How do you feel about Trump discussing pardoning Diddy? Number 8, that would be the last question. Well, even though I said what I said in my first 2 videos about how I was a massive fan back in the early 90s, and that one video where I said I paused my fandom, my fan status, I'm watching 1 through 4 on Tubi right now. The stuff I had watched was on Tube, but I kind of want the full context, you know. Some people, it's said that they lost their lives. You know, there was a thing where he smashed her head down on a bed frame. So, I mean, there is so much that goes into it. I believe, yes, I believe that there's hope that he could redeem himself. And when I said it's going to be a painful road, it's going to be a painful road. But I'm sorry. But I feel that he should be held accountable for his actions. He should have to feel the pain, and not just from the testimonies, you know. He should feel the pain and the restrictions. You know, you don't have all the money now in prison with you, and you're not popping bottles and popping collars and, you know, that stuff. Like, you're in the raw to think about what you did and what you created. And I do believe that he should be held accountable for his actions. He really should. I mean, I know he had a rough upbringing and stuff as a child, and that somebody else was a puppet master and somebody else was pulling his strings, and, you know, all this stuff that came out, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that these things happened. It doesn't dismiss the fact that he created this facade. And, you know, they're saying that he was wiping out their accounts. No, I do not think that Trump should pardon him, because there's a lot of people leaving country and jumping ship for the safe case that he might be pardoned. They're leaving the country. There's people that are court ordered not to leave, you know, but they are terrified of him. They are traumatized. You know, they're having nightmares every night in their head, reliving this stuff. So no, I don't think he should be pardoned. Life in prison? Well, I don't know. I guess that should depend on the course of time, right? And how he's shaping and forming and molding all this, right? To see if he's able to change his ways and his mindset. and, make good on promises and revolutions. He needs to have a revolution. He needs to really sit with himself and analyze everything. His life matters because he's a person. But no more. His life doesn't matter more than the survivors. They were silenced for a long time and harbored. So that's where I had to separate fan from monster in your nightmares. Thank you for tuning in, and you have a wonderful day.